Morning, I'm so excited for today. Obviously it's very early, it's not even 7 o'clock yet, but it is time to do another fitness fragrance review. Now why am I so excited about it? Well, that's because we went to London the other day, me and my brother, as you would have seen with the video that I uploaded doing my fitness fragrance review of Red Rodeo. What did I do? Well, I went and bought another spray from Lush, which one I've never owned, and also one from Zara, but today we're going to start with the Lush one, and you can see from the spray on it, it is a very big atomizer, as usual with Lush. What is the fragrance though? What is it that I'm reviewing today? It is Zesty. So it's the body spray Zesty one. I've never owned before. I've smelt it many a time. My brother's owned it a couple of times. I wanted to have it myself. Essentially, this is kind of more of a summer fragrance. You can probably tell by Zesty. This is going to be a citrus-based fragrance. And what I'm going to do today, if you haven't seen this before, I'm going to review it on my run based on 5 categories. Well, not just my run, a morning workout. So I'm going to go for a run this morning, walk to the gym, do a gym workout, walk back, all while reviewing this, and I'll give 5 categories and I'll rank it on. So one will be its price/value for money. What did I actually pay for it yesterday? We're going to talk about its versatility, how much can you use it in different situations, its projection, so how much does it fit a room. We'll do a room spray test when I come back to how much do I notice it on my run, of course, as well. Compliment factor, do I think this is going to get compliments? Obviously, the fact I only just bought it, I haven't got any experience, but do I have any experiences of smelling it and liking it, or do I think it will get compliments? And then longevity at the end, we'll do a shower test where I'll spray my arm before I go to the gym. How much can I smell it after a few hours after a shower without reapplying it? So what I'm going to quickly do, I'm going to go through the note breakdown and tell you what this fragrance exactly smells like. Lush though, they don't do a very big note breakdown, so this won't take too long. Okay, so yes, there is barely anything in this. This is actually quite a small ingredient list from Lush, and there are 3 notes. There's essentially, that's all they give you. Maybe there's more, but actually when you look at the ingredient list and the oils they've added, it is only the 3 notes they mentioned. So in the top, it's lime. Lime, obviously, everyone knows lime. It's in drinks, it's in, you kind of add it to food products. It's just that nice fizziness. That's what the zest is. I thought this was going to be lemon, but it's certainly more lime. That green sort of fizzy zestiness is what you get in the opening. In the heart, neroli. Neroli is one of my favourite notes. I love neroli. It's kind of like a white floral, essentially. I believe it's the leaves of an orange blossom, essentially. Yeah, very easy, very much used in unisex fragrances. One of my favourite fragrances of all time, Acta Palma Essenza. Brilliant. So that gives that little floral, slightly clean touch to this, which maybe just tones down that zestiness. And then olive animal frankincense, a little bit of warm, woody earthiness in the base as well, which gives it that little bit more of a mature vibe. And yeah, it's not an overload then of just pure zestiness. But what does it overall smell like? Well, to me, it's like a lime cocktail, essentially. It's very fizzy. So the word zesty is great. I think bergamot's quite a fizzy note as well. I wonder if there's a bit of bergamot in this. But if you like that green, fizzy type sort of fragrance, this is your one. This is your one. It is very, very nice. It's a little bit more mature again, with that woodiness has definitely brought something out. And I think that white floral just tones everything down, just sort of binds everything together between that sort of freshness, zestiness, and the woodiness. It just sort of rounds it off, smooths it off a tiny bit. But it's so simplistic. It's so easy to wear. I'm just going to quickly read what it says on the front, and that will probably just emphasize what I mean. So a cheerful blend of refreshing, that's the word we're looking for, lime, and uplifting neroli to make your day spritz on for a burst of happiness and joy. That is what this is, happiness and joy. Can't wait to see how this performs on my run today and give it a score. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to rank the first 2 categories during my runs. So price/value for money, what did I pay? And can you get it any cheaper elsewhere? And also its versatility, how much can you dress this one up and stuff. So yeah, it's a little bit chilly out there today. I think there might even be a bit of frost. The heating's come on, so it can't be too bad. Let's get out there. I have to apologise for all the snot that's probably flying everywhere. It's about 3 degrees this morning. I barely feel my hands. You come to hear me talk about Lush and Zesty in particular. So, Zesty, in terms of price/value for money, do I think it's good value for money? So it's £28 on Lush's website. Now, if I was blindfolded, what would I sort of say this fragrance is worth? Well, it's a simple note breakdown. There's nothing overly complicated about it. I'd probably go £35 to £40. This gives me a slight vibe of Missoni Wave. If anyone's had that one, that sort of fizzy lime sort of smell, and it's very pleasant. Now, again, I would never normally say fragrances in this price range are really worth getting. In terms of what the composition of the notes are, the fact it's just you've got lime, neroli, frankincense, olive alum. It's not, it's nothing that's really like too daring. You can get some cheap, easy to wear fragrances for about £10. However, and I've mentioned this with Sakura the other day, Lush's fragrances smell really high quality. They're very much natural oils as much as they can. They try and use natural products wherever they can. And I think you really do notice it, even with this. I always say, acre de palm, sort of citrus fragrances, you can smell there is a quality that's just above it. And I think Lush, in that sort of middle tier range of price, is that one where you notice that step up in quality compared to those cheap citruses. Now, I said the other day, I think it's, Sakura's well blended and all this. I'm starting to question whether Lush fragrances are really well blended, because look, this doesn't smell as expensive as like a Acqua di Parma fragrance, but I think the fact they only use a few notes is what works in its favour here, because I think if they used, say, 7 or 8 notes for this fragrance, I think it'd feel quite harsh. It does feel Lush fragrances. They're a little bit rough around the edges. They're not really smooth in their composition. They're not refined. But it still smells amazing. It still smells really good. And I think it's purely because they've used not so many notes, fewer notes, and they're not that well blended, but they're really natural. And what it's made is this lovely fizzy lime sort of fragrance, and it's so, so pleasant. And I really like it. I can't get enough of it at the moment. And for a very basic scent, to be able to do that with such little notes makes you think it's just the quality of the oils rather than it being well blended, well put together. And I think for most people this will do so many jobs. That fizzy lime, obviously we'll talk about versatility in a minute, is just very refreshing, as it says on the front of the bottle. And for that reason I'm going to say 9.5 out of 10. That you can get more complex scents like a Bentley Men Intense in this price range, which impresses me more how they do that. But this is very easy to pull off, and it will do a lot of jobs. So the fact it smells high quality, the quality is definitely there. It does feel a step up. It deserves the high score. So we've gone to versatility. Okay then, so versatility. How much can you dress this one up, dress this one down? Different ages, different occasions, different seasons. Well, let's start with the main thing. Is it a unisex fragrance? Yes, I think this one is. I think it's straight down the middle. Look, if you're a woman who prefers a sort of fruitier scent, this isn't it. I'd probably say ever so slightly, maybe more masculine in that sense, because it does give me that Missoni wave, like that fizzy lime with that bit of woodiness in the base. But look, this isn't hard to pull off, male or female. This is perfect. This is casual, refreshing, and it's going to be mainly for those casual occasions. White t-shirt, meeting up with friends, going to the gym, just an everyday type scent. And you can see the fact it's called Zesty, this is going to be more of a warm weather scent, spring, summer, but there's nothing daring in it. As we know, casual scents, there's never anything daring in them, and that means you can pretty much wear them in any occasion. It's never going to be wrong. On a cold day, it's absolutely freezing this morning. Does it feel wrong? Does it feel out of place? No, but would I necessarily want to reach for this? No, I'd probably want something a little bit sweeter. So I do think that sort of summer vibe is what this gives you. Going on holiday, going down to the beach, going to the gym, just meeting up with friends, that's what it'll do. It's perfect for that. Now again, I say this with ages. Anyone, I think, can pull this one off. I think an older gentleman may not really like it, an older woman, maybe not, because Lush definitely goes for that sort of younger adult vibe. And I don't know if it's juvenile enough for, someone who's sort of just first getting into fragrance, 17, 18. But they absolutely, there will be a lot of teenagers that would like this as well. But obviously, they might just want that sort of more synthetic type fragrance. This is very natural smelling, and a little bit more grown up maybe with that olive alum. So overall, I think you could wear it in any occasion. But you can dress it up if you really want to. It's not number one, but it's not wrong. But when it comes to what it is for, a summer fragrance for a young adult, that's got a bit of class and quality about it, and just makes you feel clean and well put together, this is brilliant. It's really, really good. So for versatility, I'm actually going to give it a 10 out of 10 here. I don't think anyone there's anything particular here that I can really mark it down on. Yes, it may not be for a really older or younger person, but I'm saying that just from my opinion. And if my dad wore this, or if an older gentleman, an older woman wore this, would I say they smell good? Yes. If they were dressed up in a suit, would I say you smell nice wearing this? Yes. So even though I don't think it's number one for those, that's just my opinion. I actually think I would still personally wear it in any of those occasions. And if I make a really old ripe age of, let's say 100, would I still wear Zesty? Yes, I would. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, because I tell you what, I'm smelling it on my run, and we'll talk about projection later. It's good, and it's in a cold day, and it still smells good to me. So let's get this run done, we'll get back and we'll talk about that projection in a bit more detail. Look at my hair, that's gone a bit wild wearing a hat, but run done, just over 14 miles. I'm going to spray my run now with this. Let's do sort of 5 sprays. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up in about 10 minutes time. So you haven't seen this before, come up in 10 minutes time, see how much the fragrance filled the room, and then I'll give a score on projection. Would anyone notice it essentially if they walked in the room? But obviously I've been testing my projection during my run as well, so I'm going to go downstairs, warm my hands up, and we'll talk about, did I notice it during my run? I did. Spoiler. Oh, honestly, I cannot feel my hands. They are so cold. Anyway, it wasn't about my hands. It was about the projection during my run. How much did I notice Zesty? Well, look, can you see that big stain there? That is from the fragrance. That shows how strong the oil is on this fragrance. It is super strong. And wow, did it project. I lost count of how much I smelled this fragrance today. Didn't expect that, especially with the sort of fragrance it is, and obviously the weather being as cold as it is. But it did cut through the cold, which is something I said it wouldn't really do. It certainly cut through the cold. And I'm really, really happy it did, because I really liked it. Normally I say this with running, I like to catch the odd whiff of a fragrance and just go, oh, that's that fragrance again. I got that today. That's how it performed. It didn't just stay there the whole time, but I was almost like, come back, come back. You smell really good. It was never cloying, never too much. And I think it's just one of those scents you'll never get really bored of, because it's not that complex sort of note breakdown. It's just this lovely fizzy lime. And it's just so easy to pull off, mass pleasing, and great fragrance. I can't believe how much it stained my top though. But I think that emphasises how strong the oils are in this. It's a brilliant fragrance. As I said, they're body sprays, but these are not body sprays. They are much more than that. So yeah, I'm really interested to see how much this fills up the room. I'm thinking it's going to get a pretty decent score here. I wouldn't be surprised if I really notice it as I go up. But yeah, you never know. I said Sakura the other day. I was really surprised at how good it was in all these rounds. And then Longevity let it down later on. So really interested in how these last few rounds go. So finish this tea, we'll go upstairs, and then we'll see how much my room smells of Lush Zesty. So up we go. How much can I smell this fragrance as I come in my room? Yeah, not really strong, I have to say. I expected a little bit more again than I'm probably getting from this. It's there, but it's not really, really strong. Now, that might half be, and I know this sounds silly, but obviously sometimes with it being a north wind, because it's so cold today, my nose is still dripping inside. Sometimes more air gets into my room, even though the window's shut, just can notice it a little bit more. But it's nowhere near as strong as I was expecting it to be. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought it'd be a little bit more than that. So I think for this round, we're saying about 20-30% here. That's what I'm getting. I think it would probably smell more in an hour. Again, I think it's one of those fragrances, if I was wearing it and sitting in a room for longer, it would notice more. So I think it would fill up a room more than that. So I'm going to give it 7.5 out of 10, just because I noticed it so well on the running. If it was just for this sort of round, or just for the room spray test, I'd say probably about 5. But I think it was almost a 10 running. So I think 7.5. Let's go 7.5 out of 10. I think that's a decent score. And it's still pretty pleasant. I still think you might get the odd compliment for a bit filling up a room. So yeah, what we're going to do then, we're going to head to the gym. We'll talk about compliment factor then. Do I think this is a compliment getting fragrance? And obviously my brother's had this fragrance. Has he had any experiences with compliments? And I'll tell you what I've experienced from this, just from the initial wearing, if I think it might be one to wear for those occasions. Do 5 on each arm, and then we're going to do in about 3 hours time. We'll see how long this one has lasted. So it's 9:15, it'll be about 12:15 by that stage. Oh, it smells so good. Right, let's get going. The compliment factor. Do I think Zesty is a compliment getting fragrance? Or again, I've got no experience with this, only because I've literally had it for about 12 hours. But I remember my brother first having this. I remember thinking that's really nice. And the first sort of time I smelled it, I thought, it's okay, but it's nothing too daring as well. And I think really what I was going to say with this, it depends on what sort of confidence you kind of want with this sort of thing. Because if you're looking for those sort of statement real, like people, following you, trying to find out what that is, leaving a massive scent trail, all those things, I don't think it's that sort of scent. I think this is a good first impressions type phrase, and to get those sort of general compliments, oh, you smell nice, rather than, wow, you smell amazing, you smell really attractive sort of thing, that, not like that sort of date night one. This for me more goes into that everyday approachable person that everyone goes, oh, he's really nice, oh, he always smells really nice as well. And that's kind of probably where it would almost be left at. I don't think it's that higher tier of where people might be messaging you saying, I want to know what that is, tell me what that is, because it's just amazing, and it'll leave a real impression. I don't think it's got that thing that will cut through the cold in like a big social arena, let's say, whether you're going to the cinema, the pub, anything like that. I think this is just an everyday one where you could get 5 or 6 in the day, but it would just be a general sort of one, rather than people stopping to say, what is that? We need to find out who that is and what that is. So yeah, that's probably what I'd say. It just depends on how you want to use it, but in that sense that you can wear it in so many different occasions and seasons, that the reality is you're going to get a lot of people saying good things, because the pool size, the opportunity to wear it so often, is going to get noticed eventually, because you'll just be wearing it all the time. It is that signature scent everyday sort of thing. So no, it's not bad in that sense, is it? And I think it probably fits that kind of, that it's not like a blue fragrance, but it's got enough about it to be used in those situations in the same way. So let's give it an 8 out of 10 for that reason. If you want more of a statement compliment where people literally almost are just following you because it's so good, I don't think that's it. But if you just want 5 or 6 people maybe at the tops in a day that can go, well, you smell really nice, rather than sort of chasing you up for it all the time, then this is a great one. And I think that's absolutely fine for a lot of people. So yeah, 8 out of 10, it's not bad. But of course, if you get any at the gym today, and this is the sort of fragrance I think could do well with it, we'll bump it up to a 10. So workout done, no compliments at all, but to be honest, a bit silly today, I put long sleeve on, so I couldn't really move my arm too much. But a little bit like Sakura, the fragrance is still there, but it's not as strong as I was expecting it to be. But super pleasant, absolutely perfect for the gym, to be honest with you. That's kind of the strength you'd like, but I feel like a little bit like the Sakura, it actually performs better when you've got it on clothing for this one. But it's lovely. It's still got that lime smell. It hasn't really changed in its composition. So I'm going to have a shower now, and what we'll do once we come out of the shower, we'll see how strong the fragrance is and see if it does a little bit better than Sakura did on longevity, because not quite think it's going to. It's a little bit soapy now, a bit more musky, and I just think it's going to wear off. But fingers crossed, it does better than I think. Okay, so it's just gone 12 o'clock. It's time to smell my arms and see if I can notice the fragrance at all. Would it have done better than Sakura did the other day? 100% yes. I reckon in terms of the sort of strength, it's probably about half as strong as it was when I applied it a few hours ago. But it's still very much that sort of zesty line that's living up to its name. It hasn't changed in terms of its scent. But again, because it's such a basic note breakdown, I wasn't expecting it to change too much. I'm pleasantly surprised actually. I didn't think it was going to actually do as well as that, because I couldn't really smell it before I went in the shower. But again, I think it goes back to the quality of the notes that they put in this. It certainly is quality. I also think it would be a lot more, because let's not forget, I've done a workout this morning again. There was no aircon on in the gym today, so I felt a little bit warmer in there. And the other thing is, where I was wearing a long sleeve top, the atomizers on Lush body spray are so strong they almost just drip off your arm. So there would have been some transfer on the long sleeve top. It wouldn't have all absorbed into my arm. Some of it would have gone onto the t-shirt. So I think you're talking about 60-70%, and I wouldn't need to reapply if I wasn't doing a workout. So for that reason, I think it's got to get a very good score. It surprised me. I was hoping for the best, but expecting the worst, and it's absolutely fine. It's got to get a good score, isn't it? We'll go 9 out of 10. I think a lot of people would be very surprised at how long this lasts. I always talk about getting cheap citrus sprays because, they don't have that complexity, and I don't see the point in spending a lot of money on, lighter fragrances that don't last as long. But in this case, this is justified. Maybe sometimes in these cases, you do kind of get a little bit of what you pay for, and Zesty certainly proved that today. So yeah, 9 out of 10. Time to head back, and then we'll count up all the scores, and I'll give my overall thoughts. We are back. So how many steps have I done today? It's just gone 1:45. 39,249. Plenty. All while wearing this fragrance, Lush Zesty. So what was the total score? 44 out of 50. Now for what looks like a pretty generic citrus scent, that's a very, very high total. Look, citrus scents can be quite versatile, but I always think they struggle, in my opinion, for value for money, because you sometimes want something a bit more complex when you pay £30 and up. For £28 though, this is a fantastic fragrance. It's something that I just don't think I'll ever get bored of. Look, I've only had it for 24 hours essentially. But it's so nice. It's so refreshing, so approachable. It's just not going to offend anyone. Whether it's memorable to some people or not, maybe it won't be. But the quality in this, it definitely does feel like a step up in citrus scents. It does feel like that upper middle range citrus scent that you just don't get when you're paying those cheap prices. This is brilliant. The lime in it is so good. I like the fact Lush does all natural oils in it. And I really think you notice that. Yeah, it's not the best blend in the world, but what it is, and for £28, that is great. We've seen it projects pretty well during my run today. Yes, it didn't do too well in the room spray test, which is where it essentially went down the most, but it's lasted on my arm. I can still smell it just lingering by. It'll get you through the day. People are going to like you. You know, you're just going to give a great first impression from it, essentially. That's what I'm going to say. It's such a likeable scent, and I'm very, very glad it's in my collection. Look, I've tried many of the Lush body sprays, from Rose Jam to Yognog to Sticky Dates, all of them. And I would probably normally look at this and go, it's not as exciting, it's not as interesting as a Karma, or what else have I got here? Yeah, it's a Karma Sakura. This is a brilliant one. But I'll tell you what, this holds its own really well, and that I'm really glad. This is available all year. So if there's one to try in a Lush shop, I always say try them all. But if there's one that I really want you to try, just give it a little bit more of attention to, it's Zesty. If you like fizzy citrus, then you're going to like this one. It's got that sophistication, maturity about it. Not juvenile, not synthetic, and the score reflects how highly I think of it. I honestly think the minute I get to the end of this bottle, and it's pretty full, obviously at the moment, I think I'll just buy it again and again and again. And this might even go as far as being a signature scent in the future. That's how highly I rate it. So thank you very much for watching. Plenty of these are going to come up. So obviously I've done that review today. It's going to be a bit of a fitness fragrance review week, to be honest, because that's kind of where I'm doing my videos while the weather stays nice. This is the one I'm doing tomorrow. The Zara fragrance. Of course, you may see this on a different day. Depends what I upload. Can't wait to review this one, but I'm going to do that tomorrow. We're also going to do the double espresso one, because I haven't done that as well yet. So plenty more to come, and yeah, plenty more new ideas to come as well. But thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you later.